Oh, hey, kid. Didn't see you there.
He becomes Supreme Spider-Man,
Yeah,
right?
that storyline is the sequel to the original Spider-Man. Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Like that, like. Yeah, so like the original Spider-Man, dude, it was crazy. There's like the original Spider-Man, and then it goes through so many phases. Like it gets dark, and Gwen Stacy, she's been dead for years.
But does she come back, or she's just like dead permanently?
Okay, she comes back once, technically twice. She comes back once as a genetically identical clone of herself.
Like Ben Reilly, okay.
Yeah, but it was from the Jackal, because the Jackal was a professor in NYU.
Oh.
And he had a crush on Gwen. So when Gwen died, he like made a new Gwen with the same exact memories.
That's so creepy.
And it had the same exact memories, and it came back. Gwen Stacy's alive, and then Gwen finds out she's a clone. And then I think there's another clone Spider-Man before Ben Reilly.
What?
Or this might be Ben Reilly. I'm not 100% sure.
So wait, how long did it run from? It ran from 1960 something to
whenever it originally came out, which I'm pretty sure is the 60s.
60s to, and it was like 2012 is when it ended.
I think so. Maybe a little later.
Yeah.
Like
That's
Spider-Man.
Because I know
One
they
More
rebooted
Day.
it. Oh, that was.
There's like a bunch of different ones. There's Spectacular. There's.
Are those reboots? Spectacular Spider-Man?
I think it's just like a remake.
Like
it's different telling. It's a more modern version of it.
Yeah, doing everything they already
from
did
the original. Yeah, the original.
So everything
story
before
origin.
that has just been an adaptation.
Like those are different universes.
That is kind of crazy if you really think about it, because we never really look at. I mean, my perspective personally, I only watch TV shows and I don't really read the comic books. But I never really realized there's so many layers in the comic books that it's like there's a lot of remakes before the actual Spider-Man. It was like it's far from what originally happened, but then it's like, it's kind of out. It does need to be updated. It's outdated too much, so.
Like I'm like that's why I'm so surprised how long it like it's been going on for.
Yeah,
I'm like, wait,
they kept doing it.
Like
and it was
literally at the end,
to the
he's a father, and oh wait, no, does he? I think he gives up his daughter. Does he? Okay. Him and Gwen, because the Last Day storyline, One More Day,
where he has to give up
his marriage with Mary Jane Watson for Aunt May's life.
Yeah,
dude,
and that's what they kind of did.
They like killed her 3 times.
How'd they bring her back?
One time it was like, oh, that was a clone with the same memories. And the clone knew it was Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spider-Man was Peter Parker.
I don't like those. Dude, that's just like such a
apparently
silly...
it was the 90s. Like they just threw a shit ton of clones in there.
Yeah, and they were just like, all right, Matrix had a clone. Oh, wait, that was before Matrix. Fuck.
I think it was because like the DC and Marvel were just trying to like up their stories, because like just try to make it as crazy as possible to sell.
Yeah. Even though clones are just such like a plot convenience at this point in cinema that it's like, no, we don't want to see that, please. There's like, really.
Yeah.
It was a clone it was a scroll this whole time. We're gonna find out later.
Yeah.
In Secret Wars.
I hate when they do that. Like, if you're gonna do something like that, like have the foresight to do it.
Yeah, it needs to be like planned in advance to a certain degree.
Yeah, there's Marvel Action Spider-Man.
Like people, I'm just throwing this in here also because people also were like, "Oh, Nick Fury's a Skrull," but it's like that was kind of planned in Agents of Shield because he said like a different dialogue phrase that was incomplete or wasn't right, but yeah. Whatever.
Okay, so I just looked up on Marvel's website. Since the Amazing Spider-Man, the comic book, went from 1963 to 1998.
1998. Okay,
but,
wow.
Okay, they were talking in this video I watched. It was like
35.
They were talking about different storylines after that, like Kraven's Last Hunt.
Yeah.
Dude, Kraven like kills Spider-Man, but Spider-Man's literally buried alive, and then Kraven takes up the suit and becomes like Spider-Man, but like doing his job, but like kind of beating the shit out of people like beyond necessary.
Yeah.
To ruin his reputation.
Oh, why did he ruin it? Oh, just for the time being, and then he's gonna go back to being Kraven, or is he still also just helping people at the same time, but still beating people brutally?
I looked it up. It's on the website. Kraven's Last Hunt. But they bring Kraven back later, and Kraven's like, "Why'd you bring me back alive?" Doc Connors eventually kills his son. The Lizard kills him, and then he like fully becomes the Lizard mentally. And then they change him back to
Lizard. Wait, Lizard kills Kraven's son?
Oh no, the lizard kills Kurt Connor's son, right? Because you know the lizard's kind of split
Oh.
personality.
Oh, okay. Did they hint at that at the movie? I feel like they would have. I didn't realize that you were saying
Like-
the same person killed his own son.
Yeah.
But, like,
Wait. Yeah. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean by
Kurt Connors and Lizard.
Yeah, like they're kind of split personalities.
I didn't realize they were split like Green Goblin. Are
Yeah,
they like
so,
that
like-
in the comics? 'Cause it seemed
I
like-
think in the beginning it's originally supposed to just be the same person, right?
Yeah.
But like I think because they kept writing the character, the lizard had his own way of speaking. He's all like lizard, and he'd like do like lizard puns.
Lizard
I think.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was like I think they made them separate characters because like whenever Dr. Connors became the lizard, he's like whatever, and they try to remind him, wait, you're Kurt Connors, you're a good person, don't do this.
Every single time.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he just keeps getting turned back to the lizard. Like, but it's not of his own will. Like, it just keeps happening over and over again. But he turns into a lizard.
He just randomly like turns in. It's like the Hulk. He just randomly does
I think
it.
there was like some Spider Queen or something. There was some crazy
What?
thing. Or it might have been after Spider Queen. But Kurt Connors, right?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Did that control it?
Yeah,
Kurt
they
Connors?
turn him into the lizard. But at this time, they do it in a way that like the lizards are really taking over, and he doesn't want to at all turn back. And eventually, the lizard is like going up to Kurt's son because he knows if he kills him, like Kurt Connor's not coming back.
Yeah.
And it's like, is he about to kill him? Spider-Man comes, and I think he kills him anyway. He kills Kurt Connor's son, and that was the last bit of Kurt Connor's alive. And eventually, they turn him back into Kurt Connor's, his body, but his mind's still the lizard, and he starts like, I think he wants to start killing people, but then he's like, or he wants to turn back to a lizard.
Yeah.
And then he starts like hiding, like he pretended to be Kurt Connor, so they wouldn't like he would like slip by them, right?
Oh my god.
And
this is such an interesting plot.
and then eventually he falls in love with being a human so much that he's like, I don't want to turn back.
What? But he's still the
And then,
lizard
yeah.
personality, not Kurt
And then I
Connors.
think he still hated Spider-Man because like, at the end of the day, I think all of the villains like Doc Ock, like he wants to be a good person.
Oh, they all had happy endings?
Kind of. Do you know what Doc Ock ends?
Well, how does he end?
It's the
Supreme
Supreme.
after Supreme Spider-Man, what happened? Or
Well, I don't know after, but like
he dies. Or
like
something?
Doc Ock, is like literally in like a cocoon. Like he doesn't move around anymore. He's like just the master planner at that point. His eyes are like mechanically made, and he has just arms that do everything. And then he takes over the entire city, and eventually he's like fighting Spider-Man, and he implants his consciousness in Spider-Man. Spider-Man's literally about to die. Peter Parker's about to die in the body of Doc Ock. And he's like, he calls all the villains to come and get him to his body. But Doc Ock, like, oh, wait, I thought about that. So I went to the Avengers. And he's like, oh. Or like he wants to go to the Avengers because like they'll listen to him. And they'll understand what's going on. And he went to the Avengers like, no, it's Doc Ock.
Dude, that's so funny.
And then they just
No.
keep fighting. And then Peter's like, wait, I can control the robots like Doc Ock can with his mind. So he tries to go and implant himself back into Spider-Man. But he's got like metal plating blocking where he would go in. So he's like, oh, you thought so? Nah. But apparently a little bit of his consciousness was in is in Doc Ock's head, or got into his head. And he like understood about like great power comes great responsibility. Like literally, Peter Parker's dying in Doc Ock's body. He goes, with great power, and Doc Ock in Peter's body comes great responsibility. And he's like, I will carry on the legacy of Spider-Man.
What?
And pretends to be like normal Peter Parker. Or I don't know. I think he's different now, obviously, because it's Doc Ock.
But then is Peter Parker still alive in Doc Ock's body?
No, he dies.
He dies?
He dies.
And
Yeah.
that's how...
He dies
Spider-Man
actually once, and he comes back again.
How does he come back?
As Doc Ock with Will, because he went to the afterlife, and Uncle Ben's like, no, Peter, you got one more, you can't rest yet, you got one more thing to do. And he's like, he goes back down, he sees all his dead friends in heaven, pretty much.
Oh,
And he goes to Doc Ock's body, and he tries to get back in his body. But he's like, you know what, I'm gonna die anyway, so I'll just try to make you know, you're Spider-Man now.
So, where did he go? He just went into Doc Ock's body?
And he
died
died.
again?
His body was out of life support,
Yeah.
because he needed life support, and it was out of the body. Just for him to say that.
So then, like, is that how Spider-Man dies, Peter Parker?
pretty much how Peter Parker dies.
What?
I guess
didn't realize
technically
it
he's
was
alive still. His body and Spider-Man's still alive, and
Well, so then how does the Doc Ock storyline end? Like,
I
is
don't
he
know.
still
I
Supreme
don't-
Spider-Man, or like did they
he
retcon
might be
that?
around. I don't know.
I mean, they did. Obviously, they retconned it because they started a new series thing. But
Oh, they did.
I mean, you said that it ended in like the '90s, right? Or
I
from,
guess
like,
I'm not sure.
okay.
Yeah, maybe they did.
Yeah,
retcon
they
it.
probably do like, all right, no, this is how it ran.
Yeah.
Doc Ock took over. That was kind of end game. We don't know what to do from here. Because
Yeah.
they were like, death is kind of permanent.
Yeah. Yeah. They.
But
Death is not permanent.
But how
Except for that
interesting of a storyline would that be?
What?
You're watching the story from like the hero's perspective, then all of a sudden the villain is there, and then all of a sudden the villain takes over the main character's
Oh.
body and then turns good, and then now you continue the story there,
Yeah.
and that's like that's like another phase of the storyline for
Yeah.
like
And it's kind of I think it's a pretty good ending for Peter. Like he basically gets to be an Uncle Ben for Doc Ock.
oh, because you can still communicate with him.
Well, no, he was like I'm gonna tell you, you're I'm your dying parent that makes you change your ways from thinking about yourself.
Oh yeah,
thinking about
okay,
everyone else.
yeah,
Yeah.
wow, okay, so.
But I thought all those like storylines were like different universes. Maybe a lot of them are, and this guy kind of just combined them. But I know there was. I think the last episode was Spider-Man's number 700.
Oh wow! They just stopped at 700. They didn't want to go 701. They're
Yeah.
like, no, too much. That's crazy, guys. We
Yeah.
can't be One Piece.
No. Can't keep going on.
One Piece is still going on right now.
Dude,
Can
I
you
keep
believe
seeing it
that?
pop up on Netflix. I'm like, how?
My brother was just telling me about this. It's got this new movie that he's versing one of the four pirate warlords. Finally, I mean, so like at the beginning of the show, it's like 1,500 episodes in total in grandeur. Maybe more. That's probably when I stopped watching it. They probably have 2,000 by now.
Yeah.
But besides the point, they have unlimited episodes. They introduced all these different concepts fairly early on, so you're just expecting for it to happen.
Oh yeah, like there's like the pirate fruit. What is it?
The devil fruit.
Devil
Yeah,
fruit.
and that's like what Luffy has. You don't know, like he's got like stretchy powers and stuff like that. But like, there's like other aspects of it that are like revealed, and then like, but also like, I guess the more lines the villains are laid out in front of you at the start, really early on. So you're expecting Luffy to fight them. He never does. But like, because there's so many other plots, they're just like, hey, let's do this island. Hey, let's do that island, and it's like a whole arc, a whole storyline that takes that they really just crafted like these 9 characters, or however far you get into the show, you'll see how many the crew is part of. But like, they're just moving through the island in a different storyline and then doing their own things and then interconnecting in the end. That's why I like it, because it's like the Avengers. Like, they all stick together, and then once they get on the island, they separate, do their own tasks, and then link up, and all of a sudden it just suddenly comes full circle into like a straight driven plot. And so now, I think the person who actually makes the manga, the anime, is making it like say, or he said that it's gonna be like he's starting like right now, like he's starting over, but like, or along the lines of what my brother said, if you guys aren't in One Piece, it's okay. You can start now. I'm starting over now. This is when I really begin. The past 22 years have just been practice, guys. Don't worry.
Wait. So the pirate warlord, was he in like in the beginning? They mentioned him in the beginning that you're gonna fight him.
So you meet like one of the pirate warlords, and then you don't know that. Sorry if that's spoiler, actually. But like, it's like Loki, and then like that's sort of like mentioned where he is, because you always wonder where that character is and what organization he's a part of, and like what his actual role is. But that's not mentioned until like, or his higher up, or his higher calling, I guess. But I mean, there's like other subtle things that are like, there's 7 of these guys that are eventually going to come after you. You've only met one on the first island. Then 10 islands go by and you haven't met any of them. And then you're like, what? Because that's how long it takes for you to meet all the different things they've set up. But it's like, you're not going to meet a lot of the characters till 1,000 episodes.
So they set this up like relatively early.
Yeah.
They set it relatively early, and still after 22 years.
Yeah, this dude is crazy.
There's
He
like a
just
second one?
planned it ahead. And it's like, he has like a lot of world building, a lot of strategy behind it. So it's like, you already know, like you're looking at the globe wherever they travel, you know how far they're going to go. because you could see like on like the actual map. I think at certain points. You know, it's also cool like how he's just like going each island and like getting a new crewmate. He's like, "Hi, join my crew." Sure,
Yeah.
okay, I'll do it. And then,
I've only seen like up to episode like 5 or something.
oh yeah, it's very the animation is so bad earlier on. Yeah.
I think I might have read the first 3 manga.
Oh.
I might got
okay.
one of those big manga books. Is it manga
Yeah.
or manga?
Either or. I don't think there's any real distinction. It's preference. But you know, it's a good show, good anime.
Yeah. I was pretty interested in it in the beginning, but I don't know. The only real anime I got into was Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, and I
Like-
still need to get into that too.
Dude, I haven't watched in a while, but I would watch the entire like show over again like every couple of years or so. But like
Oh,
at
I
this
can't
point,
do that
I've
with
seen
One
the
Piece.
show. Like I know how the episodes work.
Yeah,
It's like
you know
2
what's gonna
duels.
happen.
Like there's like a little bit of plot in the beginning, a duel, plot, duel, plot. Except for the last season when they're not playing the card game anymore. They're in ancient Egypt, and they're still kind of battling, but it's not
all,
the card game.
But it's all plot.
A lot of it's plot.
That's interesting.
There's still like the monster battles, but like
Oh, but that's still cool actually. I'd watch that though.
yeah.
See,
But
I
then
mean, I'd still
apparently
watch the
there's
duel.
2 extra seasons put in there that were not from the manga. There was just TV extra stuff.
Oh, like they just had it and they're like, oh, let's just do this too because this will be cool for the fans.
Like there was there's the first season of the book of the manga, and it was before there was like the card game, before the Duel Monsters card game. It was pretty dark. Like they would kill people and shit. But
Oh,
then
shit.
in the when Duel Monsters came out, they started making they started making the show about the game, which is the card game. So they wanted to sell the cards.
Yeah.
So the episodes had to talk about the cards a lot. And then every episode had like those 2 duels where they're just playing the card game and just explaining the rules. So like I summon blah blah blah, and this does blah 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 blah. Like
White
in a
dragon.
real duel, dude. Like in a real duel now, like with the card game.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know about now, but
It's
like
a lot
a
more
little bit, a couple
complicated.
years ago, like you could one turn people pretty easily.
Oh.
You can get like you get a 4,000 attack monster on your first turn. When in the beginning, like when the game first came out, it was so hard to get like a monster with over 1,500 attack points on your
They
first
kept
turn.
coming out with other stuff.
Yeah, they
They're
kept.
like,
It
"All
was
right."
power creeping. So
Uh,
like it just slowly had to beat what was out there before,
Yeah.
and just infinitely increasing. And then they changed the game.
Gotta
a bit.
keep the cap. They gotta increase the cap at that point. That's how they keep
Yeah.
getting money. But then people would get mad at that point because they're like, "Hey, this was the limit. You shouldn't do
Yeah.
that."
Yeah. Now the game's completely different. It's like I tried to get into it a couple years ago, and now it's even advanced.
Oh man, so you gotta get the hang of it.
Yeah.
You
Well, I
gotta-
didn't even get the hang of it back then.
Yeah, now it's even more complicated how you actually play.
Yeah.
But that's funny how you just still like the show though.
Yeah.
I'm only like that with Sonic, and that's how like I watch. I mean, Sonic is excited for the 3rd movie too.
Was that supposed to come out?
I think 2023. They say it's going to be the
Oh.
battle of the blue characters with Avatar 2 coming out at the same
Oh.
time.
I can see Sonic.
I know
Dude,
Avatar.
who's excited? Like,
Who's excited for Avatar? Nobody.
like, oh, it's kind of okay. Cool. You got good graphics.
Imagine it bombs. That would be terrible.
Dude.
Ooh.
I don't know how it won't.
I mean, I feel it's like after the backing of Avatar 1, and that got like so close in the box, or that was one on the box office for so long. So I can only imagine the sequel would do just the same.
You think?
Because it's like nostalgia, but it's like if you really think about it, nobody really like
Like I don't
thinks
remember.
about. Yeah, I don't
Avatar.
remember anything. I just know that there was one dude that was human, and he turned into one of those things, and then now he's that thing, and now it's the Way of the Water.
Yeah.
Which I feel like the name could have been a little better, but it was still like everything looked very cool in the trailer though. So I was
Yeah,
like,
it looks cool, but
I'm
like,
gonna watch it. That's what gets yeah.
are
But
you
it's
kidding
like,
me? I don't care.
yeah.
I don't care about this.
That
Why'd
was,
you
like,
make
the
Avatar?
main-
If you're gonna like sell it on like the graphics, make a new movie.
Yeah. They wanted to show as much as they can with the
I mean,
CGI. but,
now I say it, it's probably better to go with Avatar than not.
but how interesting would it be for them to do like humanity exploring a different race in the same universe?
That'd
And
be
then it's
cool.
like, whoa, we're getting every single thing, but it wouldn't be as successful. So then that's why James Cameron was like, all right, I'm gonna do the same thing because I like what I'm doing, and I made Avatar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
It's got a
planned
name.
out.
The
It's
name
got
might be
6.
very shit, but like it's a name.
It's what?
It's like a name. Like you.
Oh,
Could,
yeah.
It's a brand.
Yeah.
You could sell
At this
something
point,
on it.
yeah. It's just like, why? Can you continue this story? They're finding water now. There's more of humanity, and now clone with them and can now be them. But like, I don't know. It's still interesting, but they could definitely be more interesting if they did a different planet, different alien race, and that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sonic
They
is still
got
gonna have
5
Shadow.
movies. Right?
5, yeah, they got like 5 movies planned out. Yeah, yeah, that's insane. I mean, let's see if they even get there after it took this long for them to just get to like a
Yeah.
sequel. I mean,
Like why are you making 5? You were sold 5.
maybe it's because the VFX artists in Hollywood are getting they starting a union or they want more money
Oh.
for getting paid.
Yeah, I heard that it's kind of shit business to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I'm like,
really shit.
damn. It's like maybe I could be maybe I could be a CGI artist in the future if I'm like ever in need of that, and then but also I hope that it goes well for them because then I don't want to right now because I'm not really enticed with the current news for them. But I hope it goes well
Wait,
for them
so
to get more money.
I've only recently heard about like what's going on. I don't really know any details. Do you know?
Not any details, no. I just know that it's like what? Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah.
There's not that there's like anything. It's just like they aren't getting paid enough, and they're like working nonstop. And then the CGI for Marvel specifically has been looking pretty bad.
Really?
I mean, all right, not to diss all the VFX artists, but like it could be better uh, compared to like a movie budget, and that's just the only thing I can compare it to because most of Marvel has been movies, and it's not. TV is more of a usually a low budget production, so it's obviously.
Oh, you're saying
happen,
CGI
but...
on the episodes?
Yeah, there are a lot. Oh yeah, Thor Ragnarok. I mean not Thor Ragnarok. Thor the Love and Thunder was a little wacky, but I think the budget was a lot shorter too. Part of that. Uh, I don't know, but I feel like it's still like the TV show budget is a lot smaller than the rest, and that's what mainly like all the action sequences with Moon Knight. You just see them cut to Jake Lockley, and like you don't see that at all. And then it's like, oh, all right, they did that for one reason. They wanted to save money for the scene.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it, but you know, and then there's the meme where it's like all the VFX artists waiting for Marvel Phase 6, and then it's Kevin Feige saying you don't get to rest until I say so.
Oh yeah, I did see some Marvel visual effects memes about like Kevin Feige saying like, "Oh, look at all this great work we're doing," and then it's the visual effects team in the back like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
They're mainly doing everything. They gotta put their names in the credits a little bit more, like honestly, even for like a minute and a half, just like freeze frame it because of the amount of work. But I mean, like CGI is like the main reason we watch those types of movies.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you want to watch like, I don't know if you're. I'm not like excited to see like a live action thing unless it's, I guess, like a fighting Daredevil type of show. Otherwise, it's kind of boring. You need some CGI in there to do that. You gotta have some pizzazz. You gotta know the magic. So
yeah, an action movie needs to have some CGI.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Unless you do live stunts like Tom Cruise, I guess. And I don't know if he did any. Did we talk about Top Maverick and doing stunts and stuff, or did he only do that?
I don't think we talked about it.
I feel like, yeah, we probably didn't. Or maybe we did a long time ago.
I didn't see it.
Okay, yeah. I didn't see either or. That's why.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen Top Gun either.
Yeah.
I haven't seen either Top Gun movie. I've just like I started watching it once. I got a little further into it a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. But
yeah, we're gonna watch that.
Yeah, it was kind of good in the beginning, but like I just don't really care.
I don't care about dudes flying planes.
Yeah,
Man.
that's exactly how I feel like. Oh, it's them doing like plane shit.
It's like what? I mean, maybe when I get into my phase of flying, then I'll get into it.
The flying phase.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm gonna get into a parachuting phase.
Oh yeah.
Because I want to parachute, and so the next step from parachuting is actually flying it. Because you know, if you parachute from a plane, you're gonna survive. Because now I know how to parachute. So I'm like, I'd have 100% certainty I'd survive if I was flying a plane.
Yeah.
So then you know, I get my plane license certification after I do the whole parachuting thing. That's when I get enough money to actually do that per se. And then we buy a plane, we go in the air, and we're chilling.
Would you want your pilot's license?
Yeah, probably in the future. That'd be awesome, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you could actually go in the air. I always wanted to be a bird. Now I can do that if I get my plane certification, but I want to be able to survive. Even though would you have a parachute eject button always, or is that more of just a?
No, I don't think in a commercial plane.
I mean, yeah, if I get like a small one, then I have like a backpack always strapped on, right? And then that would work, and then I have to actually like wind sucks me out, and the plane actually.
In a
Like,
commercial
blows up.
plane, I don't think they'd have enough parachutes on there.
Well, not a commercial plane with like people like an airline
And
plane.
you can't get out of them very fast.
Yeah, not those, like a private plane, not
yeah,
like
a
a
private
small
plane.
dinky
There'd probably be
dinky plane, like
oh,
like one of those rickety.
biplanes.
Aren't those biplanes?
Is that like? With
I think so.
with
The
double
two.
wings?
Yeah. Those ones. Those are the cheap ones, right?
I guess yeah, because it's just like single seater.
Yeah. So
Or
I would have
two-seater.
to do those eject, or do I have to get? No, I'd have to like just still wear it and then unclick the seatbelt and go. Whee!
I think you'd have to jump out. Yeah. I don't think there's an eject.
I mean, either way, it doesn't
I'm
really
sure they
matter
could
at this
put
point.
it in it.
I'd be dropping not a helicopter, a plane on somebody, so I guess I'd have to actually be like in the sea or something. Still, that's pretty dangerous though, and then I'd get probably fined for dropping litter in the ocean unless I.
Or sent to jail for murder.
Or yeah,
Or
like, worst case
homicide.
scenario, it hits something and then I go to jail. But you know, if I don't, then I just survived one of those missile walking things. How else am I gonna get places, man? I gotta visit everywhere.
Yeah.
That would be sick, right?
Go all over the world.
Yeah.
Where do you want to travel to?
I go where the fuck I want to go. No country can tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I think I saw a video pop up that said like 10 countries that won't let you leave.
Oh really?
And it's like
I have a camera with me. Oh my god.
Dude, do you watch Yesterday?
No, it's Yesterday.
They like go all over the world and just like experience like crazy shit. Like they went and saw. Do you know what the beehives and like I think the Himalayas that the pollen from the plants they get is like psychedelic. So the honey is psychedelic honey.
What? Are you serious?
And like yeah, and it's like super expensive to get. And I think a lot of the town's economy runs off selling that honey.
All right, let's
so
go.
They go to the top. They get,
so everyone's on it.
Well, no, not everyone, but there's like specific people who go and harvest the honey.
Yeah.
And they make these giant ladders out of bamboo because it's so they make their hives on like the underside of cliffs. So like the only way up there is to like make a ladder
to climb
and get
all the way
and
up.
it's like so dangerous to do. And it's like you should see some of the pictures. Like there's people like hanging on from branches upside down, like trying to scrape it off the top of the
oh my
top
god.
of the cliff.
Why does it only grow under a cliff for some reason?
That's like where the
altitude
bees there like to make their nests.
Are they super bees? Like what the fuck are they? Wait, did you say they're psychedelic bees?
The bees gather like the plants that they gather the pollen from are like psychedelic plants or something like that.
So the plants are
yeah. Because like where you get the pollen from affects like the honey.
So is that where shrooms come from? Like Himalayans, or are they in like another region?
No, they're probably lower down. Probably temperate climates.
Temperate climates?
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of the plants in the Himalayas also are psychedelic for some reason.
Yeah, there's like other plants that are psychedelic. Like there's probably flowers that.
Oh, that we just aren't like we gotta like look up and then find out. But
and it's probably like
potent in, like
they could be like poisonous too, but the pollen could just be psychedelic.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah. But speaking of shrooms.
I see
a little segue coming.
What are you talking about, kid?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would have never planned that.
No, of course not.
It's not like the reason we came in. Because we mentioned last week when we came about the shrooms.
So we took some shrooms.
Yeah, we took some shrooms.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
So yeah, like this was my second time doing it. It was like kind of crazy at first. I was like seeing so many visuals. And then I just went in my head a little bit, and it went downhill from there. But still recovered the night.
Yeah, it was definitely an experience. We meditated first for a bit.
Oh yeah, that was insane.
We
when
had
I was
about
gonna
like
sleep.
an eighth of a dose, or 3.5 gram dose.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I barely ate that day, so I think it helped it kick in for me.
Yeah,
But
that
like,
same with me. Like I didn't eat anything all day.
yeah. And then like we got a pool table here, and the entire pool table, like the green felt, like looked like a kaleidoscope across it.
Yeah,
It was insane.
designs just kept like coming into my
Yeah.
head on the floor of where the on the pool table felt actually. It was just like insane and intricate, and then it's like once I looked away, it was gone. But like when I looked at it again, I needed to like build the world, build it to make it more interesting and create the design. The more I stared at it, because if I didn't, I wouldn't see anything interesting. It would be like nothing.
So you had to focus on things to like kind of like get
Yeah,
into
I
it.
had to actually like stare at it for a while, and then I like, okay, now I see it building even more.
Yeah.
And then it's like some other things distracted me or something, or you guys were like, hey yo, or something, and then I'd like, the thing would like not be there anymore, but it like happened like here and then, because like it always happened, but I don't know, it never really extended to a point where it would like increase too much, like it didn't like get crazy and like
I got you.
do anything too out of
Yeah.
my imagination. It was pretty limited.
Yeah, not this time, but another time, I took I was staring at a piece of wood, and the wood, like the lines on the wood, they were like changing so much, and it started like making me feel like really weird, and I didn't like it, so I kept looking away from it. And I was like, wait, how long can I stare at this thing? Like, what's gonna happen? And then I'm like, nah, it's just too scary. Like, it got scary the longer I looked
I
at
could
it.
only imagine.
It
So
was just like this, like, there's some game where you like you aim at something, you hold down, and it's like dark, blurry, and it shakes to like focus, and like the controller like vibrates more intensely. I don't know what it is, but it was like it felt like that,
yeah.
like intensely like belt up in like suspense,
So like,
like scary.
how long
suspense.
did you stay? Did you just turn away because you were scared?
Yeah, it was just like too
Oh.
intense for me to like keep looking at it.
I want to see what would have happened.
Like,
You could see your own
Yeah.
creation of God.
dude, yeah. If I wonder how like freaked out I'll be, and then
Because
if
you'll
something
see
would
it.
change.
I'm just like picturing this like it just growing and not stopping. Because that's realistically would have happened, but
Yeah. Well, it wasn't
for me or for
like it
you
had
too.
the feeling of like that shaking, like building up to suspense
So it
thing.
wanted you to stop.
Yeah, like it was just my head, I think, telling me to stop looking at it.
Yeah.
But like I didn't know why. It was weird.
Maybe it was because you weren't blinking or something. Were you staring? You were just like, oh
No, I was just looking at it like normally. It wasn't like it was
yeah.
like for a while, but I was
Yeah.
like, it was just weird. I don't know how to explain it.
I mean, I could imagine that. Like, I wouldn't want to just stare at like corner of a pool table for like an hour, and then it's like, can I please look at something else?
Well,
Oh,
it
yeah,
wasn't
just-
a long time. It was very short. It was
Oh,
like a couple
okay.
seconds.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
for a couple seconds, I would look at
Then
it.
two guys
And I'm
falling
like,
apart.
I can't get.
Yeah. But if it's like your brain just coming up with those intricate things just right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just like, I guess because it
That was
gets
early
too
on
much.
the trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
But I was weighed down. I felt really sleepy after the meditation.
yeah, dude. Gravity. Every time I'm taking it, like it feels like gravity's just really heavy.
Yeah, literally. And I didn't know that at first. I thought I was just like feeling sick. So I had like my brother get me an apple, and then like I was feeling a lot better after that, and it was like amazing. And then I just like died after.
Yeah.
The moon was giant.
Yeah, the
Oh
moon
my
was
God.
insane. We took it at night. We saw the moon. Wow, the moon was incredible.
To me, it looked like a spaceship. I can't remember what did you say it looked like?
I don't know. It just looked like the moon really intense.
Yeah, we gotta get some B-roll footage of the moon actually tonight because it's gonna be a full moon.
Oh,
Honestly, right now. So after this, I guess we'll do that. But
yeah, but I was also looking up stuff about mushrooms, and so did you ever hear how like Christmas is all about mushrooms, pretty much?
wait, how?
So like, it's basically all about the Amanita muscaria mushroom, the red and white mushroom. You know what that one looks like?
No.
It's kind of like the one in Super Mario,
Oh.
but like like in real life, that mushroom,
Yeah.
and it has like psychoactive properties. I think it's poisonous though, but I think you can eat it and not die. I think if you eat a lot of it, you'll die. But like it's red and white, which you're saying is like why
okay.
Santa's red and white. Also, ornaments on a tree were originally them taking those mushrooms and hanging them on the tree to dry, and it's like some shaman thing. And the reason why reindeer pull Santa is because reindeer eat the Amanita muscaria mushroom, so they're around that area, and like people, ate them around the reindeer, and I think people actually drink the pee of the reindeer to get high, to make it clears it out, like takes the poison out.
Imagine living in back. What year is this? When was this?
Um,
How long have they been doing this?
I don't know. I
The
really
origin.
don't know. I think it might be
Centuries.
like, well, it's obviously paganistic, but I don't know how old it is.
Before
Pagan.
the Renaissance. Before.
Yeah, I think around medieval times, maybe late end of medieval times,
Okay, yeah.
just before Renaissance. I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
something like that. Reindeer. They're all extinct.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, and elves.
Probably
There's
not.
like, about the like Santa's elves, right?
Yeah.
So like people would think that that's like, or a lot of people would take some mushrooms. Like they say they see like these little green elves, and they're like are little green people, elves. But they say I think might be on mushrooms or some other psychedelic.
Yeah.
But I say a lot of people see that when they're on the when they're on like a psychedelic.
Little green men.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It might be ayahuasca that does that, but I'm not sure.
Because like, what would that imply? You just seeing little green men as a drug. Imagine just
I don't know.
experiencing that.
But it's like it's weird that it would be like everyone has a very not everyone, but like a large majority of people have a similar vision of something.
Yeah.
But like that could be a reason why for elves with Santa. I think presents under the Christmas tree are supposed to be like mushrooms growing under the Christmas tree or something.
Oh my god, that does make sense to us.
I'm not sure.
I'm glad that every tradition in humanity hasn't just been out of nothingness. It's been through drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, why is this? Oh, drugs.
Yeah.
The most creative people thought of it because they went through an experience that none of you guys wanted to try. So.
Yeah. Wait.
That's what I was saying. Like during the trip, I was like, let's start a religion again with the moon.
Dude, you could make a cult out of like shrooms. Like if you just get people to take like the CIA, they use psychedelics to try to do MK Ultra, which is like mind control experiments.
Right, right.
And
forgot about that.
like
Government,
they use
US
psychedelics, which they used LSD, I think, but LSD is made or is derived from like a fungus, right? So like mushrooms too.
Oh, I didn't
But it's like
realize
slowly
that.
derived. It was chemically derived from that.
Yeah.
And like you can mess with someone's mind. So they tried to do experiments to see if they could like.
Fungi is the opposite of the human brain. What the fuck? That's like the equivalent
Well,
opposite.
dude, we're apparently more related to fungi than plants.
In the brain? Oh, really? That makes
like,
sense.
Like evolutionarily.
That makes sense. Because like
You
I feel like, I mean, after what I said, like it being opposite,
I mean,
and then it's
yeah,
like
they're kind of.
They got like some association that like compares to the brain.
Yeah.
Compared to like plants that are just like they don't compare to the brain at all. They don't even have an opposite of the brain. They're just like they're so small and like insignificant. Sorry, plants. Weed, you're cool. I'm not talking about you.
Yeah.
But all the other plants are just insignificant and aren't really compatible or aren't really like they can't affect the brain like a mushroom can or like other fungi that can.
I mean, I think there are like some like peyote is okay. Mescaline is either comes from peyote, which is like cactus. I think peyote is what you get from the cactus, and then you turn that into mescaline. But that's sort of plant. That's psychedelic. But it's it's a South American tradition.
All right,
like
I want to try.
It's or Native American indigenous people of the South America. But like it's actually running out because a lot of Native Americans use it, right? In their like traditions. But a lot of people are just going and harvesting it. But it takes so long. It takes like 7 years, I think, to grow peyote.
Oh wow.
So like there's not a lot. and
Yeah.
people just trying it is like taking it from like the Native American communities. They use it in their like religious practices,
Yeah.
basically.
So if you really think about it, the only reason we know about shrooms rather than peyote before then is because like there's more shrooms here. So why is shrooms so easy to grow in like the United States or like I'm not saying we're from there, guys.
It could be from anywhere.
For anywhere.
But well, shrooms grow all over the world because like shrooms, mushrooms, psychedelic, psilocybin shrooms or whatever, they've been traced back to like Europe or like ancient civilization. Like that's where like
Yeah.
humanity started.
Yeah.
And
Unlocking in the brain.
a lot like it's grown on like uh, cow, bovine, like shit. Um, and it comes up very quickly too. Like a mushroom can come up in like I want to say it could appear in a day, and like it dies within a week. But lots of people think like when they think about like the Son of God, you know, in like all these different religions, there's a Son of God in like most of them, if not all of them.
They all did shrooms.
And yeah, but it's like basically the Son of God is shrooms because ancient people used to think, oh, God would basically rain is basically his semen, so he's implanting Mother Earth, and his son appears in like a day, and like yeah, I think it's 7 days because there's the
Tsunami or
there's
the,
like
the end of the world.
yeah,
Moses.
seven's like a number that's in like the
Or
Bible.
it was
and
created,
stuff.
yeah. In 7
The world was
days.
created in 7 days, or was created in 6, and he rested on the 7th.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he knows his stuff,
oh, yeah.
guys. He knows his
I was gonna say there's
biblical
7
history.
disciples, but there's not. There's like there's 14.
There's 12.
12? I don't know.
14 disciples. I mean, watch me. No, I know it's 12.
It's 12.
Yeah.
12 disciples. Yeah.
Well, I think like the other one of the 12 disciples became Satan, right?
No, that was an angel. That was a fallen angel.
That was the fault, but I think he was one of the 12. And then
Judah. You talking about Judah?
Yeah, I can't wait for people to correct
Judas.
it. I can't wait for my parents to hear this. I can't wait for my grandparents to hear this conversation and just they're like, "Oh yeah, you're fucking up on the Catholic religion."
How do you feel about organized religion?
Organized religion.
How do you feel about if you want to talk about Catholicism?
I mean, like they're like good in general and have good intentions, and sometimes it can't be perceived that way, I guess. But that's just like not all the church is good. Some of it is also like corrupt to an extent, and that's like it's different parts. You can't really tell, and the only reason I say it's corrupt is because no one's one human is above anybody else in being consumed by greed or any envy or anything, any other one of the 7 sins. So it's just I guess I feel like everyone's human in that regard.
Yeah.
So
How to want to be closer to God, kind of thing.
yeah. So I don't really know, but what do you think? I know you know a lot more information on the subject.
I'm not a fan of like I think it, oh okay, so I gotta think about this. I'm not a fan of organized religion. Um, I grew up Catholic, not really Catholic. My parents weren't like religious, but they sent me to re, like religious classes to become like a member of the church, and yeah, I don't understand how like one person can be closer, and I feel like um, a lot of people just misinterpret the Bible.
Because they need to be on shrooms.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think like every religion is like the same story. It's just translated to different cultures and
Yeah,
stuff.
a lot of people. Yeah, I agree too.
And
it's like it could be.
yeah, like I also so I was watching a lot of stuff from like how like Christianity became a religion in like ancient Greece or the Roman Empire.
Yeah,
it was in the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And it was like they had their gods, right?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, like no one really talks about the Roman gods. They talk about the Greek gods. No one really says like Mars and Saturn and Jupiter.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting. Even though Roman was like
That's just
a
like
lot longer.
literally.
But they like the reason why they had a pantheon of gods.
Discovering stuff probably.
What?
Historians probably discovered Greek stuff before then, and that.
Oh yeah,
like
that's probably.
I mean, I'm not saying
Well, I feel like it's a lot more common knowledge. Like,
yeah.
Which gods are which.
Yeah.
But they okay, so like the reason why the Roman pantheon of gods had so many different gods, it's probably went traced back to Greece, but is because they just accepted everyone else's religion. They're like, oh, you have your own god, like you have a different god.
We'll add them
That's
to the
whatever.
list.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's another god, oh, dude,
Sick. I didn't know
another
that.
one. And then it just became like one religion kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they would have accepted like
Jesus as another god.
like yeah, like I don't know how it was,
God
or,
as
like their
another god.
god Yahweh, or whatever the original name for God is, right? Like there's Yahweh. I think Elohim might be a name for him. I think Lord in the Bible, when it's right Lord in a certain way, like if it's all capital, but it's like small capital. You ever see that in the Bible?
Small, I guess. Yeah.
There's like they say like God, the Lord, and Lord like written that way. I think.
So then the Lord.
Well, they're all
God
technically different
means-
words for God.
The Lord God means God.
There's like one version of God is really Yahweh. One is Elohim.
Where are these based? These where does that mean that?
What do you mean in the Bible?
Yeah.
Like if it says God, like it says, and God said, it might have been Elohim.
Oh,
Elohim,
okay,
however you say it.
Yeah.
And like in the like translation, like they just translated all the God and Lord
Yeah.
kind of thing. But like in the before it's translated into that version of the Bible, like there's a different word there. And it would only be because like I think in Judaism they call him Yahweh, or I think it's Yahweh, and we call him like God. I think that's a big like.
But it's all like the same translation to God.
Well, yeah,
basically,
because like
but yeah.
Judaism is like the Old Testament, and
Yeah, right,
Christianity is the
yeah.
Old Testament and the New Testament.
Yeah. What's the New Testament? Why does it make it different?
New Testament is Jesus. Old Testament is all like creation story, Cain and Abel, Tower of Babel,
Wow. Okay.
Moses, Noah.
I know most of that from pop culture references, Tower of Babel from zombies.
Yeah.
I watched Lucifer on Netflix. I know Cain and Abel from that. So I know a lot of these characters from pop
Yeah.
culture, so it's really
Because
sad.
they're comic characters. Like it.
Yeah.
It's the most sold book of all time, isn't it? The Bible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, at the time when the printing press was also released, yeah.
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah, when
wild.
books were like, yeah, I think that's when.
Imagine back then, and it's just like, yo, we get paper. What the fuck is this thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god, we need to now learn what it says, because then nobody had a. At that point, no, you could still write on stuff. Probably not. Yeah, paper was just
Yeah.
like more like
Expensive.
easier for us.
A lot of people
to,
didn't use paper.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna use paper for? Are you gonna write like a nerd? You go to school, rich boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right? Oh, good for you. I gotta go fish.
Yeah. Not everybody could do it back then. They had to like
Yeah.
do their own thing, and not until later, in the Shakespearean era, that was still very rare, I think,
Yeah.
to actually go
I think
to a
that
play.
school that Shakespeare, or allegedly if Shakespeare's real, he
What
went
do you
to this school.
mean? Allegedly, that if Shakespeare is real,
Do you know
what
the
do you
conspiracy?
mean? You just tried to slide that in there, like.
Do you know the conspiracy about that?
What's the conspiracy?
There's a conspiracy that
I think you
Shakespeare
probably
wasn't
told me,
real.
but I forgot.
There's a conspiracy that conspiracy theory that Shakespeare isn't. It wasn't a real guy. It was like a pen name for a bunch of different authors.
Oh, okay.
Because like,
But
there's not like a lot of evidence of it.
maybe he was just really low key, like he didn't want to like do too much.
I don't know. Well, like I
Like
think
what
even the
evidence would
picture
there be?
that that the classic picture of Shakespeare with like the bald head and like the hair around
Yeah.
it. And he's got that weird.
The French cap.
Um,
The French. It's like a.
I don't know, but like, no, I
Right.
don't think he has a hat on.
No.
He's got like that like the thing around his neck,
Puffy
the puffy
white,
thing around his
yeah.
neck.
Okay, I got that part right.
Like that's not a picture of Shakespeare. That's just some artist's interpretation of it.
Well, I mean, like maybe he's just low key.
Nah, I don't think it was. I think it was just like someone was like, "This is what I think Shakespeare looks like."
That would be so crazy if like 10 different people were just like, all right, let's do this, and just go under the name Shakespeare. That's a funny name. Now we
Yeah.
all think he's an actual person.
I think there's another like some people know like there's a name that might be who they think Shakespeare could be.
Like what? Like an actual name?
Yeah, like someone maybe around that time.
Oh, okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
That is pretty crazy though.
Yeah.
Like what? What do you know about Leonardo da Vinci?
Smart dude. Yeah, artist, inventor, entrepreneur, philanthropist, billionaire, playboy.
Yeah, literally though. At this point,
He's basically the Tony Stark of like the
he
Renaissance.
made a plane in the Renaissance.
Yeah, he made flying machines.
Yeah, he made flying machines. He's the one who made cannonballs.
Dude, he made millet. Dude, he's literally. I'm saying this now. Like he's literally the Tony Stark of the Renaissance.
Yeah, he's
Like,
the
dude, this
smartest.
guy is like just doing everything.
He could do whatever. He was also an artist on the side. He was like, "Oh, people are doing this. I could do that."
Yeah.
Like,
Mona Lisa.
easily,
Sculpture.
no problem. He
Didn't
just
he
did that
do,
on the side, even though he's more known as an artist than an, I guess, an inventor, right? But I feel like
artist.
yeah. Before I learned more about him, I just knew him as an artist.
Yeah. What sculpture did he make?
Actually, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle
Yeah.
first.
You know
Mona
him, and
Lisa.
you know Michelangelo.
What?
There's, Leonardo and Michelangelo, but there's Raphael and Donatello. Like I don't know really those artists.
I forgot who they were, but I feel like yeah, I don't know. Actually.
They were both Renaissance artists, but like
They might be philosophers too, maybe or no?
maybe I don't know.
I don't know. But either way, Leonardo, he's
Yeah.
cool. He's cool dude, and then he's got a TV show too.
He does.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Da
Da Vinci.
Vinci's Demons.
Wait, that's about him?
Yeah. That's about him living in the Renaissance and like. It does some like season like I want to say 2 or 3 maybe it goes to like oh maybe this wouldn't happen but then it like goes back into like what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want me to spoil it for you.
No, don't.
All right, I won't.
Pretty interesting.
But it's pretty cool. I think it's on Stars.
Oh.
If you have Star, if you
I
don't.
thought I've seen it.
Oh, okay. It might be on.
I'm pretty sure I've seen the name.
Yeah, I got the entire cast signed at Comic-Con,
Hey.
so no big deal. It's whatever.
Good shit.
Yeah, I still have that, but I might sell it. I mean, I don't really. Never watched the last season, so stopped.
You're not invested in the show.
Should have. Yeah,
You're
I mean,
not
I got like
connected.
I think I got 3 seasons, unless there are 3 seasons, but. No, it was pretty good though. It like just explained like all his inventions and stuff like that, and like why he does it.
Wow.
Other stuff, but it's cool. You know, like they should make a lot more shows in the past.
Yeah. Time period pieces.
It feels like another planet. You know, like
Peaky Blinders. You ever seen
yeah,
that?
I watched like a little bit of
That's
it.
a good like 1920s England
yeah
period piece.
yeah. It's like a perfect like staple of like that era of like
Yeah.
what happened.
I like historical. I like when it's like
TV shows.
yeah, but like when it's like based off true things.
Yeah.
Like it may not be. It's definitely not.
A
gonna
little
be all-
dramatized, but it's okay.
Like it's not really gonna connect. Like,
That's what gets us. Yeah.
Like Vikings, it's like that for
Yeah, literally.
the beginning of the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
Middle Ages. Dude, I think that's crazy. Like we could have had so for the Roman Empire, right? That was like the actually they were around for like a couple thousand years, right?
You talking Byzantine Empire or?
Yeah,
before
like
that?
they're the
Like,
entire
including
Roman
Byzantine
Empire, including like the very end of it.
Ooh, I think it lasted to like pretty late. Like I don't want to guesstimate, but like 1,200.
Okay, it lasts a long time.
1,500.
Yeah, dude.
Because it was the Byzantine Empire counted like a lot extra or something. Maybe it was just 1,000.
I think it was a lot longer than I think maybe not any civilization today. No, yeah, any civilization today. All these civilizations are countries.
100 years old.
Countries,
right?
empires. They don't really last very long now.
But they always have the same region of people, yeah. But it's
The people are kind of the same area, but like Germany, like that's not the same country it was like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Part of it was controlled by Russia.
But then again,
in the 80s.
You could always be like, oh, this country took this part of that area, but it's like still most of the country here, and then it's like that country's still there, and then I'm like, all right, we just want to change our name for some reason, but we're still the same country because we want to follow this ruling or this way of like living, I guess.
Like after the Soviet Union was probably the last, or after the Cold War, probably the last time that countries really like changed shape.
Yeah, the only reason to change a name, I guess, is to like really signify something for the people that
Yeah.
want to do it, because they're like, no, we don't want to stand for something that already was before us. We want to do something else.
Yeah. Well, going back to the Roman Empire, dude,
Yeah.
that lasted so long, and like, oh wait, where was I going with that? Oh, period pieces. Like, okay, so
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
the Roman Empire lasted for so long, and like they could have had a industrial revolution. Like we
They
had it
probably
like,
they had sewer systems.
well,
and
yeah, but like they
plumbing.
could have like the industrial revolution. I think came from the steam engine,
Yeah.
like making steam. Like they could have done that, but it was because there was slavery around that there wasn't a need for industrial revolution.
Oh.
So like with
That's insane.
slave labor, like it's not like it's so much cheaper to do that than to make than to invest.
That could have been also why they got to that point, though.
But they almost had
But
it
yeah,
too.
they could.
They had this like ball thing that like you put a candle under, and they put water in it, and there's like two ejection points on the side, and it like spins around. So they were
Oh,
that
yeah.
like, that's how close they were.
Yeah,
to
like the
steam engine.
the Tower of Alexandria. Like that was like a tower that had like
Dude, yeah,
it
these
was burned
sculptures they have,
down.
the seven wonders of the world, dude, they don't exist anymore except the pyramids of Giza.
Wait, what? All the seven
The
wonders
seven
of the
wonders
world?
of the world.
I
There's
forget
like
what are they.
the gardens of Babylon, which was like this amazing castle with gardens running down it.
Yeah.
The
What happened to that one?
I don't know.
Oh
Babylon's
no.
not around.
Oh,
There
yeah.
was the tower, the statue of Helios, or
Ooh.
I think Helios, but it was the god Helios.
the sun.
He was like they made a giant statue of him like standing over a canal. It was this huge statue. Boats would go in it. It was a huge harbor.
Oh, that's just like they copied that in Game of Thrones. Then it's like another statue.
Oh
That's
yeah,
cool.
probably.
Yeah.
That's from that.
Yeah. They just tried mimicking that.
The Lighthouse of Alexandria.
That was
Those
the
are huge.
okay, third one. Yeah.
I don't know if the library is one of them.
Oh, Lighthouse of Alexandria.
Yeah, the
was
statue
one.
of
The library
Zeus in Athens, I think, was one
that
of
was
them too.
another one.
Dude, a giant fucking statue.
Okay,
like,
that
these
might have been
statues,
the parallel to Game of Thrones then.
Probably.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know
yeah.
how big the statue of Abraham Lincoln is,
Not
but
that big compared to.
they might be bigger. They might have been bigger shit than that.
Wow.
I've never seen the Abraham Lincoln statue.
Wait, where's the? You mean the Mount Rushmore?
No, not Mount Rushmore. The one where it's in. I think it's on the back of a penny actually, but
Oh shit! Do we
like
have a
the
penny
mall, the mall. I think that's what it's called in Washington D.C. Where they have the Washington Monument, and then standing across it is Abraham Lincoln. I think it's like Abraham Lincoln stairs at the Washington.
Right.
Monument.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's not that big. Yeah, that's pretty tiny.
Is it?
I mean,
I haven't seen it.
Oh, I mean, like
Not the one in the pen.
If you're sitting next to it, it's like Thanos, but like 10 times bigger. Maybe 5 times bigger. I'm trying to estimate here.
But the statues just might be bigger than that, and it's during the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And then society collapsed. Like Christianity took over, and like shit started changing. They became like 2 separate empires, 4 separate empires. Like the empire just kept changing.
Yeah, they kept
over
breaking up after like Caesar's death because that was the Roman end of the Roman Empire.
And then that led to the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
Like basically society collapsed.
But we like rebuilt ourselves after.
Yeah, the Renaissance.
Also,
Renaissance
did the Black Plague also, was that medieval or?
It was like just before the Renaissance. I think the Black Plague ends and Renaissance.
So like it led to it.
Yeah.
And then that's just like the tipping point where everything like started to do a little bit better.
Yeah.
Where during the Roman times the Black Plague wouldn't have happened.
Well, they had their own plague during Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, really?
He wrote a book called Meditations, but he had some plague that went on during his time, and his book Meditations is like.
That's so interesting.
It's like a book. It's like an over 2,000-year-old book, or about 2,000-year-old book. Probably older than the Bible actually, but it was a guy like his personal journal. He'd write like advice to himself.
Pre-Roman, yeah.
Yeah, and like he just wrote it to himself, and they find it years later and they publish it in different translations. But people are reading it like, wow, this is like so relevant, or at least back in 2020, it's so relevant because he had references to the plague, or the pandemic.
Oh,
I don't know if he said pandemic.
That's insane, actually. But like, still, like that, he was like saying, like, can you recall anything specific? Because like now I'm like really interested.
Nah, I have no idea.
Oh man.
Well, it
so
also
cool,
depends
though.
on the translation too.
Yeah.
Because like the translation of the book, like it was written in probably Latin.
Yeah.
And then it was translated over time, and you could have different interpretations of the translation.
Yeah, and then that leads us to it's a translation
Yeah.
that is most equivalent to like what we
Like
think
if
it
you
is,
read
but
the book in like the 1800s, 1700s,
it means something completely different.
like they'd write it in Old English,
yeah,
and then they write it in now. They'd write it probably something more comprehensible. So.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
That makes sense.
yeah.
So then you can't really figure out what that was actually meant back then, but it's still like interesting now just to figure out like, it really is like every time you retell a story, it's gonna change. But like now with the invention of technology, it's date printed. We have that
Yeah.
stuck in time right now, so we should be good in theory, right?
In theory, as long as we don't lose internet access.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's like you can't lose that now, unless a nuclear war happens. But
Yeah.
everything else, weather damages
EMP.
stuff, and
Solar flare.
Oh, so there is a lot of stuff that could just like.
I guess solar flare kind of cause.
Can we save any data? Like timestamp it, or no? It's just.
I mean, there's probably I don't know. So, do you know what the fire that happened across like America because of a solar flare?
That was because of a solar flare, really?
So it was like in the late 1800s, early 1900s. There was when we had telegraphs, right? We had telegraph wires.
Yeah.
Like that's where wires first started going across the world, and that's how they sent messages.
Yeah.
A solar flare came, and that's like an EMP blast if it's like large enough.
Yeah.
And it caused all the wires just burst up in flames.
Oh my
Dude,
fucking god!
I don't know why we aren't taught that. Like that's not just a mention. Can you mention that?
Yeah, that would be so cool. I'd be so much more interested.
Like literally,
a solar
back
flare,
then,
boom.
like they got lucky back then. That was just the beginning of like wired across technology with electricity.
We're lucky that was the only time we got hit.
But dude, I want to say
was
there
no radiation?
It wasn't the radiation because like it was just like the EMP blast.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't really close. Like it was big for the sun, or it was big for Earth. But like to the sun, it's probably like a larger than average normal, like solar flare.
Yeah.
But I think we're protected by the radiation with the ozone.
Yeah.
But the EMP, I guess, can get through.
That got through it. Okay.
But I'm just like, how aren't we taught this when literally, like I was in school like the 2010s, early 2010s. Like, back then, technology is so prevalent. Why aren't we taught like, oh, by the way, all this maybe just one day could just go out?
Yeah, literally.
Like they teach us about how the sun might explode, but like doesn't really matter to us. Like we're gonna be long dead before the sun explodes. But like an EMP blast, that can happen.
I'd be fucking useless in an EMP blast. My job is gone. I don't even have a purpose.
Yeah,
I need to have other skills. Damn.
I hope the world goes to shit. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, if a solar flare goes off, my job is nothing I can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that would suck.
Yeah, as a film major.
Yeah,
you still have storytelling abilities.
Yeah, I still have storytelling abilities, but it's very limited to a certain degree. That is mostly what what I would be doing is categorized in, so that would kind of suck. Yeah. But I can still tell stories. Yeah.
Like the 60s, you have to use one of those 60s cameras. We have to like wind it.
Those still work?
I mean, I don't think that's electricity.
How long would an EMP blast last?
I don't know. I think it could like fry electronics.
Oh, so we
it could like turn them off
everything else. Yeah. We need to go to a manufacturer and get like new stuff and then just like produce it like that, and then it would work probably.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just do that then. The only way I could actually stay in business because I can't do anything else. But we'll see. All right, guys. Welcome to Carbo Load.
Hey, welcome. I saw this done on another podcast.
Really? They did this?
On the Iced Coffee Hour. Like they have the opening, right? But then they cut to the podcast, and at the end of the podcast, you can hear them like about to do the opening.
Oh, that's so. We're just gonna keep it though.
Yeah. Just like this. We'll play reverse.
You guys are gonna be like, what? Who are these guys? We didn't get the intro. Well, it's Hawk
and Kato.
And this has been Carbo Load, guys.
Ciao.
Yeah, that was the intro and the outro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, take that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Of course.
And watch the rest of the video. No, I'm kidding.
Watch it again.
Watch it again. Yeah.